You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, PMR Roofing, HomeServe Home Warranty, Republic Title, Evolution Moving, and Keen Landscaping. And now your host, real estate broker, consultant, and best-selling author, Todd Tremonti.
Welcome, folks. Welcome to the show. We've got a lot going on for you today. We are going to dig into kind of state of the market, what the heck's going on, what should buyers, sellers, investors, and homeowners be doing today. Later in the show, we're going to have a deep dive conversation on rising interest rates. What does that mean for housing affordability? Is there a bubble in North Texas? All of the things that you want to know. And if we don't cover something you want to know, you call us or you text us and we will. How about that for a deal? 214-310-0008 gets your question directly to us. 214-310-0008. Call or text. You can also go online, as my son says, to
ToddTremontiTeam.com.
ToddTremontiTeam.com, where you can get access to videos of excerpts from past radio shows. You can also get access to professionals and experts that we talk to here on the show that our clients, our team, and our friends in the DFW area use for all things like roofing, electrical, heating and air conditioning, moving, landscaping, and mortgage and beyond. Speaking of mortgage, this first segment of the show, as always, is brought to you by Patrick Glaros and his team over at Cardinal Financial. Any mortgage needs you have, let's just keep it simple. Any mortgage needs you have, you call Patrick Glaros. That's literally what I do. I've talked to him lately about a traditional mortgage. I've talked to him about an investment loan, about a new construction loan. There's all sorts of opportunity in this market. I'm always looking. We don't do every one of those deals. We do as many as we can, but we definitely investigate them. And every time I'm investigating something that would involve mortgage financing, I'm calling Patrick Glaros. 972-728-3420. 972-728-3420. Or online at patrickglaros.com. That's Glaros, patrickglaros.com for all your mortgage needs. Now, we're going to be talking directly with Patrick later in the show, so hang tight with us. We do have a full studio today, so before we get rolling, we do have the one and only, the English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie, in studio. Now, let's be careful.
Okay.
How English are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good.
Okay. Now, there was...
I'm feeling right good.
Right good, then. There was some discussion earlier that the footy didn't go as well as we had hoped.
Nope, it didn't go. I've had a few days to go over it. We're good. We're good.
All right.
Next season's going to be good. Wilder did a good interview afterwards, kind of fired us up. Fan base, we feel strong heading into next year.
For our regular listeners, they know that was a Middlesbrough Football Club update. For new listeners, we rarely make it through an episode of Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti without Ian spending a good 45 to too many seconds on his favorite English football club, Middlesbrough, and as Ian and others say, up the borough.
The good news is you're going to get a few months off. We don't go again until August. I'll sprinkle in a little bit of transfer news over the coming months if we make any big waves in the transfer market.
You're right. That is good news. I'm thrilled
You'll be happy about that.
We also have in studio with a microphone the producer extraordinaire of all things audio, video, and digital. Runs the YouTube channel, runs the radio show, and more.
Also known as the chicken guy.
The chicken master himself, the young MG, Mason Goss. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
There he is.
Cluck, cluck.
Cluck, cluck, he says. Welcome. Mason spent a decent bit of his week explaining to our team what a plucker is, as well as how in the world he grew a 7-pound chicken in a matter of weeks.
Not to be confused with the restaurant Pluckers. This was a plucker that Mason was explaining.
Similar but entirely different at the same time.
Probably got its name from that exact
Potentially
machine.
That's the chicken wing reference. But once again, we've gotten off the rails early in the show. We're going to get into your questions just about as soon as we can. Let's start with one big, broad idea. I have for decades now said that a responsible homeowner will check in on your property value at least once a year. I have said for probably 3 or 4 years now that with the volatility and intensity in the modern real estate market, at least the last 3 to 4 years, you really should check your property value at least quarterly. Okay. Now, for the first time in the last 3 or 4 years, I'm changing that. I think with the changes we are seeing in the market in the last 3 to 4 weeks, really this year in 2022, with interest rates and all the craziness, you need to be checking in on your property value monthly. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but if you have a retirement account and you're even remotely near retirement, my guess is you're checking your retirement portfolio or the value of your retirement accounts at least monthly. Your home is probably a pretty significant portion of your wealth building or your total financial picture. I believe with the volatility we're seeing, and we're seeing a little bit more, at least in residential real estate, than we have in a long time, you should be checking in on that on a monthly basis. The best place I know for you to go to get local, accurate, quick information is to go to valuethishouse.com. Valuethishouse.com. You can find out what your home would sell for or rent for in the current market with the most accurate recent data that you could possibly get, and an automated online tool is online at valuethishouse.com. Find out what your home would sell for or rent for in less than 60 seconds at valuethishouse.com.
Now, we are going to get into impacts of the Fed increases and interest rates. We're going to get into all of that in the second half of the show. It's going to be a really important topic as we talk about, well, what do you do, right? What do you do next, whether you're looking to buy, whether you're looking to sell? When somebody does an automated valuation, and we get asked this question a lot because people will reach out to us, they'll say, hey, can I get something a little bit more customized? And then we'll give them a call and we'll spend 10, 15, 20 minutes on the phone with somebody. And one of the questions that seemingly always comes up is it's a broad question, and it's going to be different for everybody, but it's some variation of, hey, what would be some of those things that would make sense to be able to do to my house right now to get it ready to sell, to be able to maximize my value? And I think the people that really get it, that really understand that this is not just a market where, sign in yard, list house, sell house, but they're kind of saying, hey, I don't want to leave money on the table. I want to make sure we have a really good plan. Well, what's your answer to those folks?
Well, let me give you a very detailed answer, but one more quick tease, because around 3:35, 3:36 today, we will have Patrick Glaros on to get into the deep dive details of the mortgage interest rates and the impact that's having on buyers and sellers. But if you're going to sell and you already know that you want to get that done soon, after you've gone to toddtremonteteam.com or called us, then the question would be, what should I do to my house to improve the value? Right now, again, a good agent's going to tell you based on the trends, based on your neighborhood, based on your property, the land size, whatever, you should or shouldn't do this or that. But generally speaking, there's something I was thinking about the other day. This is going to sound so stupid, but one of the things that sellers so often ignore in this recent market, where sellers are really confident and sellers think that buyers are just going to, back a truck up, is cleanliness. I know that sounds crazy, but our agents are showing buyers properties where sellers have done what they think is the obvious thing, right? So, they've patched a hole in the wall, but the baseboards are just kind of coated in 18 years of gunk, right? Or the front door is all banged up, and they have not gone the extra mile, right? So clean windows are worth every penny. We don't have a wildly, highly recommended window cleaner at the moment. There's a couple out there that do a pretty good job. But the point I'm making is there are some small things like grout lines, having all matching light bulbs of the right color tone, depending on the amount of natural light you do or don't have in your house. These are simple things. The reason I wanted to give this answer is because almost any home seller could do these things without having to have a ton of budget or a ton of time, right? You can make sure you have light, bright, good light bulbs in every fixture in the house. Clean windows, allowing a lot of light in so that the room feels, big and bright and fresh. The smell of a home. Now, of course, you can upgrade to granite. You can put in wood floors. You could put in landscape lighting. You could put in a brand new front door. You could add colorful, bright flowers near the front door to draw people's eyes into the home. You could put a freestanding clawfoot tub. That's really trendy right now. But, before you do any of that, baseboards, trim, fixtures, lighting, clean windows, deep dive cleaning or refreshing grout lines and caulk and things like that some buyers will notice. Others won't notice consciously, but they'll just say, man, that house felt perfect, felt fresh, felt clean, was bright and open, felt big. That's a bigger deal than a lot of sellers acknowledge.
One of the pieces of feedback we do get from a lot of our buyer specialists related to this is smell. You briefly mentioned it, right?
For sure.
And so, look, please don't write in. I am not picking on cats right now.
Yeah,
but
I might.
Okay. So I have freedom to. Okay, great. Look, that's been one of the biggest complaints is like that cat smell, right?
Well, the cat urine
smell.
It is one of the two nearly impossible smells to remove from home.
So what does a home seller do if they know, like if they're aware of it? If they're saying, look, we've had cats, we've got cats, we know there's a smell in there, we know this is going to be something hard. Like, what are some of those things? Because, I mean, you can go ahead and rip up all the carpet, all the other stuff. You can repaint, you can do everything, all this other stuff, but that gets expensive. So what do you do?
The reality of the situation is the smell of cat urine is very expensive. It just is. A smoke from a fire. Cigarettes are bad, but smoke from a fire in the home is up there with cat urine. Look, those are the two. I'm sure someone could concoct something worse, but those are the two that happen with somewhat seemingly regular basis that are just really, really, really difficult to deal with. But at the end of the day, if there is cat urine in a home, then you're going to smell it, and if that's there, it's costly. So you're not going to carpet clean your way out of that smell because it is seeping into the wood or concrete below that flooring. So oftentimes, let me be very careful. There's really cheap ways to do it, and there's the best way to do it. But one of the most popular things people do is rip up the carpet and paint the slab, or literally paint, kills, or seal the framing inside. Well, you're talking about like a massive remodel at that point. So there is no super simple, just plug in an air freshener, Mountain Breeze. It's going to smell like Mountain Breeze and urine. It does not mask it. It just blends with it. So as much as this is not anyone's favorite conversation to have, ultimately what you want to do is avoid those smells in your home. Smoke and animal urine is about as bad as it gets, and cats it just is. It's just the worst one. So if you've got it, you're going to either probably need to discount the price of your home or spend significant resources to truly remedy it. I know people that have pulled up carpet and put down brand new carpet, and as soon as it's remotely warm in that house or outside, the smell's right back. So that's not a fun answer, but that is the answer. That's one of the most significant obstacles to getting a home sold for top dollar.
Yep. HomeServe Home Warranty. Let me tell you about them really, really quickly. They've done a tremendous job for so many of our clients. They've taken care of so many just little issues that have come up from people. Like I keep getting reports from people I know and just from other team members that the clients are just really, really happy with the service they're getting from a home warranty company. And a lot of times we hear really bad feedback about home warranty companies, but HomeServe have done it really, really well. You can go to homeserve.com for more information, homeserve.com. Go to toddtremonti.team.com for all of our recommended pros and vendors.
Todd,
Mason.
I was talking with, I didn't address you, so.
Carry on.
Todd and Ian, sorry. Mm-hmm. Some of my friends, I was talking the other day and just talking about how crazy the market has gotten with sellers and stuff. And I always am trying to explain why most of them don't really see the need for a real estate agent, or they guess they have trouble seeing the need on the sell side because it's just going to sell no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I have to come in and say, hey, this is actually how we do it differently. Mm-hmm. I feel like people need a reminder of like, what are we doing differently in a market where it seems like you just put the house on the market and it sells, or, it's going to get 100 offers no matter what. How are we making a difference for sellers?
Well, thank you. Great question. And I think a lot of sellers are thinking that. They're, market's hot, tons of demand. I'm just going to do it on my own or do it with some cheap internet agent or whatever. And they're leaving a lot of money on the table. So here's what we do differently. First of all, we guarantee to sell homes over the average price and under the average time, not over asking. Asking price is basically irrelevant because you can ask whatever you want. Doesn't mean you're accurate, but truly an agent or a homeowner or them working together can pick any number they want. The home could be worth $1 million. They could ask $1 million, $10 million, or $1. It's you can ask whatever you want. Therefore, saying we sold for over or under asking price is irrelevant or manipulative. Usually, it's just disconnected. Now, saying we sold for more than other homes like it, sold in the same area at the same time of year, with all things being the same except for the marketing and negotiation and agent service, that's different. That tells you about a process. Now, we have a 7-step proprietary marketing system that includes some pretty significant marketing strategy, a team of agents and staff that are needed to pull all that off. And those are currently leading to our sellers averaging a little more than 12% more than their neighbors selling similar homes. And a little bit more than 30% faster than the other homes. Now, in the current market, some people don't really care about speed because they're saying, well, it's going to sell for, is it 12 days or 4 days? Is it 3 days or 1 day? Look, some people, they do care, but price is the thing that right now in this market, people are not seeing very clearly. They're thinking,
what did you say our percentage was?
Time-wise, about 30% faster than market average. Okay. Money-wise, about 12% more. If you have a $500,000 house, that's $60,000 American dollars.
Just in your pocket.
Just like you sell and you don't get it, or you sell and you do get it. Now,
based on our marketing plan.
Here's what's happening. Based on a 7-step proprietary marketing plan and world-class agents that are full-time, fully dedicated, constantly learning, and part of a team. The average agent in the United States is part-time. I'm not calling out any one agent, but most agents are not fully committed to real estate as a full-time business career with the tools, resources, technology, staff, education, and access to other people to support them. So the average person in the current market is saying, look, I bought the house for $300,000 8 years ago. Oh my gosh, I sold it. I made $100,000, sold it for $400,000. Whereas a system like ours might say, look, you could have gotten $450,000 or $470,000 or $480,000 or whatever the case is. But they don't know it. They don't know what they missed out on because they're happy. And look, I would rather not know and be happy than know and be miserable forever. But to answer your question, what we do differently is, we have a 7-step proprietary marketing system for sellers and a 13-point buyer program for buyers. We have a full-time team of agents and staff employees to support those agents to deliver world-class value to our clients. The numbers would say our sellers are getting 12% or more over and above what their neighbors are getting for selling similar houses. I mean, the numbers are they are what they are. They're real. And on the buy side, we're getting our buyers access to homes they otherwise would not have access to. We're getting them pricing that is achievable in a market where sometimes it's not achievable, and into homes with often less competition than they would have to have otherwise. And also a world-class service and value along the way, whether it's related to vendors, closing times, the ability to not get stuck without a home when you're selling and buying, and lots of other really, really great options.
We told you about it earlier in the show. I want to tell you one more time that if you have not checked your home valuation recently, go to valuethishouse.com, and in less than 60 seconds, you'll be able to see what your home would sell for or what your home would rent for. And if you want something more customized, something more than the automated valuation, just reach out to us. Just reply to the email, send us a message, just say custom valuation. I would like a custom valuation, and we will reach out to you and we'll get that taken care of. You can go to valuethishouse.com. And then let me just tell you really quickly about DP Lambert over at Goosehead Insurance. You can do what I've done, what Todd's done, what Mason, what so many of our team members and clients has done, and have reached out to DP over the years and said, hey, would you take a look at my home insurance, my auto insurance? Would you make sure I'm getting the most coverage, the best coverage, at the best price. And DP has done that for so many of us so many times. He saved me thousands of dollars over the year. He saved Todd thousands of dollars. He has just been such a great resource for so many people. You can contact him, dp.lambert, Lambert at goosehead.com, dp.lambert at goosehead.com, or go to toddtremonti.team.com for all our recommended pros and vendors.
I'm going to preemptively respond to all those people out there that are probably rolling their eyes at, okay, Mason, here's the self-serving question about how you guys do it better.
Yep.
And I want to say one thing. We try to make this show really about providing value, answering really good questions to, that people have about all sorts of things in regards to real estate. But there are times where we want to say, hey, we actually can provide a lot of value to you, right? We're trying to show, answer questions and be a resource, but also trying to say, hey, look, we're getting 12% higher values for similar homes. That's a big difference for a lot of people.
It's a big difference for all people. That's what's crazy about it, is it starts to sound unbelievable. Like it really does. You're like, yeah, sure, these guys are going to get me $60,000 more than my neighbor. That's ridiculous. It's not. It's happening every day. If you're curious about that and you have a home to sell, then go to toddtremontiteam.com or call 214-310-0008. And one of our world-class, we call them marketing specialists, our agents who work with sellers, will sit down with you and look at the data for your home or the situation, and then show you some similar situations. Here's what houses in that neighborhood we're selling for, and here's what we sold one for. Here's what houses in that zip code we're selling for. Here's what we sold one for. And look at legitimately comparable situations and say, this is what's normal in the marketplace, and this is what the Todd Tremonti home selling team did. Now, obviously, to your point, that sounds really, really self-serving. I don't know how to do it any differently. It's our heart's desire that our business would be based on the fact that we deliver unbelievable value to our clients. I don't know a better way to build the business than to spend the bulk of our time figuring out how to get incredible results for buyers and sellers and clients and friends in the market. And then they tell each other about it. And of course, we tell people about it, but we're not telling them that we have trophies or how many houses we sell. That's all impressive. What we're saying is, these are the results that our clients get, yes, because of our systems. Yes, because of our great agents. Yes, because of our approach and our experience and our authority and expertise and all that things. But the compelling thing should always be the life change that happens for our clients, right? I had a house and then I was able to get $60,000, $100,000 more value out of it. Now I can help pay for a kid's college. Now I can pay off debt. Now I can buy a new car. Now we can invest in an extra property, or whatever the case is. That's why we love to do what we're able to do, because it changes people's lives. And you can go to toddtremontiteam.com to find out more. Now, if you have questions about roofing, go to pmrroofing.com, pmrroofing.com. I know that we had a transaction for a client this week where there was a question, can we get the roof done in time for closing? And PMR came to the rescue. If you have any residential roofing needs whatsoever, go to pmrroofing.com. Reach out to our buddy Jordan at 214-957-0839. If you ever forget any of that, just go to toddtremontiteam.com, click on radio, and all of our experts are there. Remember, folks, we only introduce you to recommended professionals because they've done a great job for us and our clients.
So check out Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, HomeServe Home Warranty, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance,
PMR Roofing,
Evolution Moving, Republic Title, and Keen Landscaping.
We'll be right back with more Texas Real Estate on WBAP.
You're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tremonti, brought to you by the Patrick Glaros Mortgage Team, DP Lambert with Goosehead Insurance, PMR Roofing, HomeServe Home Warranty, Republic Title, Evolution Moving, and Keen Landscaping. And now your host, real estate broker, consultant, and best-selling author, Todd Tremonti.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Heads up, though, we will have Patrick Glaros with us here in a little bit. We'll get him on the line and talk about what's going on in the mortgage market, what's going on with rising rates, what does that mean for home buyers and sellers and the intricacies of the mortgage world. I mean, what does it mean to get the best interest rate? When is that not the best thing for you? We will dig in with Patrick Glaros here shortly. You've heard us talk about him for years. You've heard him on the show before. You'll have a shot to engage with him in a little bit. If you've got questions you'd like us to ask or that you'd like to know from Patrick or anyone else, let us know. 214-310-0008. 214-310-0008. Call or text, or as always, you can go online to
TouchYourMoneyTeam.com.
just like my little buddy says. All right, here's the deal. We've talked about the craziness and the volatility of the market and what people need to know and not know. Answered about as many of your questions as we can. We're here to be a resource for you at all times. But if you are currently thinking about buying or selling a home soon, we could never cover in a radio show all the things that may be specific to you and your situation that might help you make a wise choice for you and your family and your finances. If you're in that situation, I want to personally invite you right now to reach out to my team, the Todd Tremonti Home Selling Team, where we can put a dedicated world-class, full-time, committed real estate agent who specializes in only working with buyers or only working with sellers, only on the Dallas side or only on the Fort Worth side, on the phone with you, on a Zoom meeting with you, or in the office around a table with you, just to help you clarify what's important to you, what's available to you, what opportunities are out there, and as much as anything, what risks and potential mistakes are right in front of you. There's just so many mistakes being made right now. So many sellers leaving money on the table. So many buyers buying impulsively without being protected and overpaying. Reach out to the team right now. We'll be glad to set something up for you at no charge to you whatsoever. 214-310-0008. Just save that phone number in your cell phone. Save it under Todd Tremonti or Todd Tremonti Team or Todd Broker, whatever you want. 214-310-0008. Call or text, or you can go online to ToddTremontiTeam.com. You can find out what your home would sell for in under a minute. You could find out your home buyer readiness score, your home seller readiness score. You could watch videos of past radio shows and hundreds of other educational videos about parts of town, parts of the buying and selling process, when you should use an agent, when maybe you should not, lending, and on and on and on. Again, we'll be getting with Patrick Glaros here in just a few minutes. Before we do that, it's important that we are careful who we bring on the show, that we're careful when we introduce you to an expert. And we are. We're very protective about that. There are folks that want to pay us to be on the show just because they want us to talk about their product or service. We don't do that. When we do talk about somebody, it's because we've had a great experience with them. Our clients have had a great experience with them. And PMR Roofing is no exception to that rule. PMR Roofing has been a trusted partner for a long, long time. Many of our team members have personal relationships with ownership and key leaders over at PMR Roofing. That's who we're calling when our clients need a new roof, need repairs, need a roof inspection, need to respond to hail damage or anything of the like. And that's what we think would be a good idea for you to do the same. Reach out to PMR Roofing at 214-957-0839, or the easier thing may be to go to PMRroofing.com. That's PMRroofing.com. You can ask for Jordan Collins or our buddy Quentin. Either one will do. They'll take great care of you. They'll tell you what you need. They won't sell you anything you don't need. That's PMRroofing.com.
What, before we bring Patrick in, tell me kind of state of the market overall. We've been talking about it on the team this past week, kind of a little bit of what we're seeing just before we bring Patrick in and talk specifics on mortgages and rates. What are you seeing as on a whole in the market right now?
Well, it's been a fun week in the market for some reasons, and really it has not been a fun market overall for more than 6 months. But this has been a fun week because we have seen the tiniest bit of movement where our buyers are seeing a little bit better of an opportunity. And the flip side of that is our sellers are getting a little bit of a wake-up call out of being lazy. So sellers are realizing, okay, rates are higher, buyers can't afford quite as much. I need to be a little bit more focused on making my home attractive to all buyers, competing for buyers, understanding that there might not be 16 people that want to make an offer that can all afford my home, that are willing to compete and just, shoot to the moon on price. There's still plenty of people, but not as many. So I need to be a little more strategic. But we've had some big wins for our buyers in the last week and a half, 2 weeks ish. So that has been fun.
We've definitely had more buyers getting under contracts in the past few weeks than we had the previous month or so.
Yeah, to be clear, this is not a massive shift. We're not seeing a bubble. We're not seeing buyers stealing houses and sellers having to drop prices a lot. But we're seeing buyers have a more approachable ability to get into a home, and sellers saying, I may go ahead and make a move now instead of waiting and seeing what happens in the market. Still feel good about the market, but we're seeing a little bit of wiggle room there that's been good for buyers, not necessarily bad for sellers, but sellers are seeing some of that massive leverage slip just a tiny bit.
Before we bring Patrick in, I was actually talking to somebody earlier this week, and they reached out to us and they were like, hey, I think we've kind of missed the top of the market. Rates going up. I think we've missed the amount of buyers that are going to be able to come and see the property. And I got to have a really good conversation with them about it.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Is that what you told them?
Basically, yeah.
Well, we joke about a little Buddy the Elf quote here and there, but the reality is it's not lies. It's just, maybe somewhere someone in the media was lying. Probably not. They're probably just trying to hype it up and get views. But the reality is that's a lot of the conversation right now is there's, the bubble's bursting. And that may be true in some pockets. But in Dallas-Fort Worth, we still have all the fundamentals of a really, really strong market. All right, next up, we are super excited to have our buddy and mortgage guru extraordinaire, Patrick Glaros. By the way, that's Patrick Glaros, Glaros, patrickglaros.com. Welcome to the show, Patrick. What's up, man?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right, here's the deal. Let's just get right to it. Not everyone, but lots of people are losing their minds over rapidly rising mortgage interest rates. So can you just give us the quick 1 minute lay of the land of what's actually happening, and then we'll get into how that impacts folks?
I'd be happy to. The main things that we're seeing in the market and that people are, kind of hysterical about are that we've seen such a quick increase. In the 2 decades that I've been doing this, I've never seen interest rates rise so quickly in a short period of time. However, we're also coming out of a period where interest rates were at true historic lows. You'll hear historic lows thrown out a lot relatively, but those were the lowest rates that we had ever seen or experienced. And there are a lot of factors that led to those being an anomaly. And so while rates have gone up a lot and quickly, for perspective, I like to zoom out to 2018, 2019, and that's about where we sit right now. Rates were still good then.
When you say that you've never seen rates increase in such a short period of time, how long a time period are you specifically relating to? Is it the last few weeks, the last few months? And what is that increase, just to make that really clear to folks?
Sure. So as far as the increase that we've seen in a lot of different scenarios, we've seen interest rates increase anywhere from 1.5% to 2% from where they were as recent as December or early January. Really, since the year turned over, we have seen those interest rates increase, at a rapid clip, just like we've seen other markets correcting themselves. It's just one of them that, gets felt in such a short period of time and such a big movement.
So for obviously different interest rates for different people, credit score, price points, all that stuff. But ballpark figure, are we talking 3.5 move to 5.5, or what's kind of, where are we and from what to what?
You've just about nailed it. So in general terms, 30-year rates were somewhere in the 3s. And now they're more likely to be in the 5s. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't find circumstances where you can, maybe buy the rate down and still get it into something with a 4. But as a whole, I would say we have made that shift from the 3s into the 5s.
Okay. Now, I know you can't tell the future, but generally speaking, I know you follow the markets and you follow the things that sort of indirectly or directly impact mortgage rates. Just, we know that you don't know this, but what does the best information out there say? Are rates going to stay the same, continue to go up? Do we think they might come back down anytime soon? What's the future look like based on the best information we have?
I would expect that we end up seeing rates more likely to stay the same or see some increases higher. Now, when I say increases higher, that's, it's relative to the costs that are associated with those loans. What are we having to pay in closing costs or points to get to one of these interest rates? And that's part of the thing that's just amplified right now and magnified because rates have gone up so quickly. Lenders are continuing to have to hedge about what they think might be to come. And so if we can establish some sort of even sideways range, then we can see not only rates come down a little bit, but the costs associated with each of those rates start to become a little bit more normal.
Okay. Hey, folks, you're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte. We've got Patrick Glaros talking us through what is going on with the current mortgage market with the increase in rates and the impact on home buyers and sellers. We're going to get to that in just one second. If you have mortgage questions, Patrick, where can folks get a hold of you to ask about their specific situations?
They're always welcome to call us here at the office, and you can reach our office directly at 972-728-3420, or you can visit my website at patrickglaros.com for some general information and some simple ways that you can connect with our team to get some more information.
Now, if they go to patrickglaros.com, let's make sure they spell it right. That's Glaros, patrickglaros.com. There's mortgage calculators there and lots of tools, but if someone knows they're ready to rock and roll, can they just go ahead and start that process of getting a mortgage on your website, or do they need to call?
They can. Our system will allow them to go directly to the website, patrickglaros.com, click the Apply Now button, and there will be a short form, about 10 or 15 minutes. They can provide all of the information that we would then use to help give them some concrete information and a pathway towards pre-approval.
Now, I've been telling people for 20 years that when they work with you or your team, that you guys are the best in the business at educating them through the process. So without taking up a ton of time, just really quickly, can you summarize what I mean by that? What you guys do to help make sure people understand all of their options?
Gladly. We feel like everybody needs an opportunity to be heard before we can really know what sort of loan options are going to fit or what sort of price points are going to fit. So the first part is just exploration of what our goals are. And we come into that at different phases. Sometimes that's a purchase price range. Sometimes we don't yet know the price. We just know what we're comfortable from a monthly payment standpoint. And so either way, we can reverse engineer that and start to lay out some side-by-side comparisons that show what do these different price points look like, what are the monthly payments that tie to them, so that in the end, you can be equipped with all the information that you need to go out and cast a real search in the market. And the main goal is when you find that home that you love, that's not the time that you want to go and explore and find out if you can afford it or qualify for it.
Great
we want
point.
that to all be in place and understood so that the clients can be in a position to act quickly, because that's what it takes in this market. You all know much more about that and how competitive things are. And so we just want to be ready when you call to let those clients put their best foot forward and have their offer get accepted.
It's an excellent point, because if you find the house and then try to go get your financing in order, it's gone. That's just literally almost no other option there.
We were just talking about it with some of our coaching clients around the country this past week about, hey, how are we educating and helping inform people that are thinking of buying a home, but they don't want to like sit down with you beforehand, right? And one of the things that we talked about was, in this market, maybe more than any other market, right? I mean, definitely now because it's so relevant, houses are getting snapped up so quickly. If you don't have a plan in place, I'm going to say it's virtually impossible to get the thing done. And it's the same way if you don't have your lending in place. It's all a piece of the puzzle, right?
Not only your lending in place, but a lender who understands your situation and will help you communicate with the seller to get a home. Okay, I want to make a few quick points. Patrick is always my first call, and he's anything residential mortgage I've ever done has been with Patrick, but occasionally I'll do something that Patrick doesn't do, and he'll point me to other great people. So anytime you're borrowing for property, I recommend you reach out to Patrick. Go to patrickglaros.com. He's pointing me towards another lender for commercial property or for construction type things, but traditional residential mortgage, Patrick is my guy. I think he should be your guy. Reach out to him. Go online, patrickglaros.com. NMLS number 308804. I want to ask you one more question before we wrap up here, Patrick, because you referenced it earlier, and I'm not sure that most people fully understand it, but you talked about buying down a rate. So just really quickly, what does that mean?
Whenever we look at an interest rate, a common question that we get is, what's the rate? And there's never really an direct answer to that, because we always have a range of rates whenever we plug in somebody's scenario and go to the market to find out what's available. And so part of that exploration, just like we might compare prices or down payments, sometimes once we've narrowed it down, we already have the home in place, we know the down payment. Now we need to decide what's the right interest rate and, in this case, closing costs or discount points that are associated with it. And so the way that we look at that is on the rate sheet, there's kind of your market rate that we'll see, but there's always opportunity to buy that rate down to a lower interest rate and what would be an upfront cost of discount points. In the end, for me, that's
if I pay a little bit more of it up front, I can have a lower rate for the whole life of the loan.
Exactly. And so, what we try to be cognizant of is the lowest rate on the wrong strategy can be detrimental.
Right.
And I'll say that again, the lowest rate on the wrong strategy can be detrimental to our finances if it's not built into the big picture. And so what we have to look at is if somebody's going to be in their house for, in their mind, 7, 10, 20 years, well, that's going to result in a different loan option that I may recommend, because they're going to have the time to get the benefit of that lower interest rate. And we don't know how long we'll be in the home or in the loan, but we can at least make our best guess or assessment of that so that we can choose accordingly. At the same token, if somebody is not planning on being in a home for very long, it does not make sense usually to pay a lot of upfront points or fees at closing to get a lower interest rate.
It's such an important point, cool, and I don't think very many people consider it. We had one more question come in, and then we're going to kill it on time here.
Give me 30 seconds to a minute on what impact does the Fed increases have on mortgage rates?
We get lots of questions about this.
The Fed increases do not directly impact mortgage rates, is the first kind of statement and clarification there. And the distinction is, when the Fed is talking about raising rates, they are moving the federal funds rate, which really determines short-term borrowing costs. And so when banks are lending or borrowing from the Fed, that is what they have access to the money. And in turn, that influences our short-term loans, things like car loans, credit cards, anything like that. Now, while the same influencing factors are there towards the Fed funds rate and mortgage rates, it does not mean that if the Fed is increasing rates 0.5%, that mortgage rates have gone up. Usually, when we see that news, it's usually already has been built in or baked into what we've seen in mortgage rates. So, I wouldn't have any fear or concern about all that commentary of Fed increasing rates, just because it is not a direct correlation with what you'll see when you go to finance a home.
Ultimately, what I would say is if you have questions about the mortgage rate, don't try to answer that with the headlines. Don't try to answer that on the news. Reach out to an expert. And I'm a big believer in a local expert because they understand the intricacies of the market. And if you're in the DFW area and you want to reach out to Patrick, let them know one more time what's the best way to get in touch with you.
You can reach me and the team by phone at 972-728-3420 or by going online to patrickglaros.com. That's Patrick, Glaros.com.
Nailed it. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Awesome. I love it when we have a chance to chat with Patrick and other folks that we trust, right? Obviously, you have lots of choices in the marketplace when it comes to a mortgage loan or any of the other experts that we have a chance to talk to here on the show. But all I can do is tell people our experience, right? I could do more, but all I'm willing to do is introduce people to folks that we've had a great experience with. And I just used Patrick on a residential mortgage for a real estate project that my wife, our family, are doing right now. And then he's just advised me on another one that's out of his core area of expertise and introduced me to somebody else that was excellent. Those are the kind of pros you want to be working with, right? That's the kind of pro that's the kind of people we want to be here at the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team. Look, we are really, really good at what we do. I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. I'm proud of the people we hire, the way we train, and the character and values, but also the skill and expertise of our agents and our staff. But there are things we don't do well. And when someone calls and says, can you help me buy an apartment complex? I'll say, look, that's not our core area of expertise. Here's a person or two or three that you could call about that, or let me introduce you to them personally. But if someone's buying a home in a neighborhood in North Texas, or buying a home on land, say half an acre to 20 acres in North Texas, that's what we do. That's what we do at a world-class level. That's what we train agents all over North America to do. And I'm thrilled, like I am thrilled to introduce people to Patrick. I'm thrilled to introduce people to our team members and say, look, you want to sell a house in this market, you literally cannot do better than the Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team and the amazing agents we have like Jeremy and John. You want to buy a house, the buyer specialists on this team are the best in the business. By all means, the best in DFW. We're gonna sell your house over the average price and under the average time, guaranteed. We're currently selling homes almost 12% over the average price and like 30% faster than the average time. And on the buy side, our people will guarantee you they'll save you at least $5,000 throughout the purchase process. You'll sleep better at night. You'll know you're well protected and taken care of because you have not only an agent but an entire team behind them.
And it's all over the Metroplex as well. Okay, so if you reach out to us, and if for some reason it's a little far out, we don't quite reach that area, we'll be able to connect you with an agent that we know, we trust, that would be able to help you out. But we work all over the Metroplex, both Fort Worth side and Dallas side, north, south, east, west. Reach out to us. We definitely want to have that conversation.
So here's me personally inviting you to go to toddtramonteteam.com, click on any button, fill out any form, call or text any phone number, and we will connect you with a full-time, dedicated, world-class agent, and they will listen to you. They will ask you some thoughtful, insightful questions, and then if we can help you, they'll give you some excellent world-class guidance. You can go online to toddtramonteteam.com. You can save this phone number in your cell phone and call 214-310-0008 or text 214-310-0008. Remember, folks, we only recommend